Issues in Digital Technology in Education by Janice Minson Park. In the global world, technology has become the forefront of economic progress. Countries where technology is advancing clearly demonstrate economic growth in comparison to the countries without these tools. But what is it about the 21st century, and what specific skills do we need to prepare the next generation in order to continue advancing without falling behind? Unlike other generations, students were raised along with technology. Seeing that technology plays such a large role in their lives, I pose the question: how can teachers capitalize on the technologies that students already use on a daily basis? In what ways can they use e-tools to optimize their learning experience? To begin off, an advocate for the 21st century skills named Tony Wagner, also the co-director of Harvard's Change Leadership Group, argues that educators are teaching students how to write tests rather than preparing them for society, the real world. Students know how to receive high marks in their test scores, but fail to prepare them for the 21st century world. As a world evolves, we too must continue to progress by providing the necessary skills for students who need to be multiliterate, creative, and innovative. So what skills must we teach students? Partnership for the 21st Century Skills delves into this through a rainbow diagram going beyond the 3 R's, that is, the core subjects of reading, writing, math, to a higher level. That's to weave these 3 R's to the 4 C's: critical thinking and problem solving, communication, collaboration, and creativity and innovation, in order to help students master multidimensional abilities. Interconnecting the 3 R's and the 4 C's will equip the students with the skills required of them for the 21st century. Now, we know what skills they must develop, but how is it that students differ from the past generation, from our grandfathers to our fathers, and even us? What makes us different from the growing students of this generation? Why can't we continue to teach the way we have been teaching for the past decades or so? I mean, after all, it's been working fine until now, or has it? Marc Prensky is an Oberlin, Yale, and Harvard graduate and educator. He argues that our students have changed radically and are no longer the people our education system was designed to teach. Following John Barlow's article, A Declaration of the Independence of Cyberspace, he famously coined the term digital natives and digital immigrants. Now, who are the digital natives and who are the digital immigrants? Prensky states that today's students, K through 12 through college, represent the first generation to grow up with this new technology. They've spent their entire lives surrounded by using computers, video games, digital music players, video cams, cell phones, and all the other toys and tools of this digital age. Past generations, that is, our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and so forth, grew up in the pre-digital age. These technological tools came after their birth. In contrast, technology has been born alongside with the students of this generation. There's never been a moment where technology didn't exist in their lives. These children are the digital natives. Prensky differentiates the two, stating that digital natives thrive working collaboratively through networking, receive information quickly, multitasking, the speed of switching from task to task, and so forth. In contrast, digital immigrants tend to do things such as printing out emails, do things in person, and prefer to read physical books rather than things on the internet. Prensky argues that digital immigrants learn differently, such as slowly, step by step, and is continuing the trend by teaching digital natives in the same manner. However, as digital natives learn and socialize differently, they're struggling to comprehend what they're taught. It's stated that they learn much more efficiently by receiving information quickly, and this struggle is what teachers must adapt to. Additionally, a Toronto psychiatrist named Norman Deutsch demonstrates that there are contrasting differences in the brain between those who consistently use technology online versus those who have little to no use. A study by Gary Small and his group found that those who use internet on a consistent basis, net-savvy people, use a much greater extent of brain activity, including a large portion involved in complex reasoning and decision-making in comparison to reading a book. Compared to reading books, there are more neural circuits in the brain that are more active. This demonstrates that the learning online can be much more engaging and mentally stimulating than simply by using a pen and paper. At the same time, Gary does touch upon the warnings of overusage on technology. Pediatricians recommend those older than 3 spend no more than 2 hours. Now, going back to the original questions of how teachers can capitalize on the technologies that students already use on a daily basis and how they can use these e-tools to optimize their learning experience. Now, of course, there are many suggestions, but I'd like to touch upon 2 main ones. First is through a teaching method called blended learning. Like the definition, it blends the learning between face-to-face instructions with e-learning. It finds the middle between the undesirable and desirable, between receiving instructions purely through technology and purely through face-to-face. Now, the key thing to note is that blended learning is not instruction through face-to-face and then you go home and do some online activity that supports the learning that just occurred. Online learning or e-learning is emphasized as an integral part of instruction. It's a necessary component of instruction. An example of this is the flipped classroom, whereby the students will receive the content online via a video clip. They can listen and work at their own pace, rewind, replay, pause, and so forth. And then when they come to class, they can discuss or problem solve the application portion. But don't worry, if this sounds overwhelming, teachers can still integrate blended learning without completely flipping the classroom. Choose a subject or two to begin with and transition slowly into it. For example, if there's an assignment or project based on books, perhaps integrate e-reading or books that are read online, such as through websites of Storyline Online. With younger children, make sure supervision is occurring while online. Then bring that book that they've read into the classroom for discussion or questions and activities. Graham's study explains that blended learning is shown to have the highest satisfaction in comparison to learning just in class or online. Additionally, with textbooks being outdated almost as soon as they're published, students can access up-to-date information online. This is one of the many reasons a teacher may integrate e-learning and even m-learning to their classrooms. How to optimize their learning experience? Students are already connected to the internet 24/7 through their phones. Why not take advantage of that? Instead of banning cell phones completely, something that the TDSB did and 4 years later took that ban back, why not embrace it? Although it is ultimately up to the teachers to decide this, whether the pros outscore the cons, there are advantages of being connected to students even after hours. It is also an advantage that in comparison to laptops and computers, students can retrieve and communicate instantly, anywhere, at any given time. The learning doesn't stop when school ends, but the conversations and discussions continue throughout. Additionally, students who may have questions or concerns outside school hours may simply email or, if they have a group chat, ask other students or even the teacher. With technology, learning can become much more effective for students. Instead of avoiding and banning e-tools, technology can offer the opportunity to enhance students' learning. After all, the digital natives learn most effectively through social networking, promoting the 21st century skills of collaborative inquiry, creativity, innovation, critical thinking, and problem solving. Using technology can provide an interesting and interactive virtual learning space for students, equipping them with the necessary skills for the future. One day.